Mustang acronym to represent the process of design thinking. Each letter stands for a different step in the design thinking process. M is for marvel. Marvel is when students come up with initial ideas and have a big choice. U is for understand. After the students have decided what idea they want to go forward with, they have to understand who they want to pitch their product to and their general audience. S is for share. The students will share their ideas with their teachers and peers to get initial feedback. T is for tinker. The students will start to create first drafts of their project and will begin to see the outline of what it may look like. A is for analyze. When you're analyzing, the students will receive the most feedback from their teachers and peers. N is for navigate. The students will go through their project one last time to make sure it's ready to be created. G is for generate. After all that's done, they will create their final project. Here's a big question. How does design thinking benefit us as learners? Well, design thinking is very unique compared to more traditional teaching styles, and the boring facts you may acquire from traditional teaching, you probably will never need to use within an hour of when you learned it. But design thinking will teach you how to solve a problem. And no matter what scenario you may be put in the future, you're going to need to be able to solve a problem, which is what Mineola is teaching us with design thinking. Many design thinking projects will help contribute to the community. These projects will directly impact the students' everyday lives. Students will more likely focus on what they're learning if it's directly impacting themselves. It's also just important to give back to their community, and design thinking does all of these things. One project that contributed to the community was Long Island Railroad competition. During the Long Island Railroad, students had to come up with an idea that would reduce the noise, improve the quality of life, or help the local businesses that were being impacted by the construction, because the Long Island Railroad is adding a third track, which is involving a lot of construction, which will be slowing down many commuters. So my group's idea was Smart Bike. We had to problem solve in order to think of what idea we wanted to choose. We were creative and came up with an idea of a bike share program, which would be an eco-friendly solution for people to avoid traffic. Mineola is doing many choice projects that will help students solve problems that can directly impact their everyday lives. Now we're going to watch a video that Gabe Wasserman created that won Best Video. So this video dealt with money and many other important aspects of life that you may need to use in the future, as did my groups, because part of our solution was that if when people were to rent the bike, part of the money would go back to the Long Island Railroad, which would help financially, which is something we will all need to do at some point in our lives in the future, so why not start at such a young age? Another project that we've been a part of is our parking lot challenge. Our school's parking lot is so ridiculous. It's a miracle that there's never accidents every other day. So our school came up with the idea for us students to use math and engineering skills to create a parking lot that wouldn't be such a threat. So we had to use many interdisciplinary skills in order to create a parking lot that would be more adequate than the one we currently have. We have many projects like these that will help us in the future, because we have to use many skills these are jobs. People get paid to make parking lots. So really, if Mineola's and other schools are doing more things like this, it will just prepare us better for the future. And now Joe's going to talk to you guys about another project in Mineola.
Another project that we do here at Mineola is the Shark Tank Challenge. The Shark Tank Challenge is a challenge where students can come up with an invention to improve everyday lives. This helped teach kids innovation and how to build something to help the world. This is important to learn because there's times in every person's life where they'll be put in situations where they have to think outside the box. And here at Mineola, we're even teaching kids that there's no box at all. Now, what box do you ask? Well, I don't know.
Cleaning can be difficult, tiring, and not a lot of fun. Moving in small ways can be very aggravating. And bending down to dust is a big hassle. That's why we invented the new remote control Duster Buster. With the new Duster Buster, you can broom with ease. Why have a broom when you can have the Duster Buster? Is dusting a hassle? You can dust with the new Duster Buster.
The Duster Buster. It busts your dust.
Call us now to get your Duster Buster for $34.99.
My group's wind turbine collapsed. So we had to rebuild it all on our own with help with our peers in order to rebuild our wind turbine so that we could test it during the competition. Using the critical thinking skills of design thinking, we were able to recreate our wind turbine. This is a perfect example of how design thinking will teach you how to think right on the spot and solve problems when it looks like there's no solution. It's really things like this that are so special in Mineola because it teaches us how to think when we're stuck in a bad situation. And once again, no matter where you'll be in the future, you will need to be able to problem solve right on the spot, no matter where it may be. So having things like this happen during design thinking, which happens a lot. When things like this happen during design thinking, it just betters us as learners. So, to wrap up design thinking, what skills do we gain from this process? Why do design thinking? Well, design thinking teaches 4 skills. It's the 4 C's: critical thinking, creative thinking, collaboration, and communication. We get many more skills from design thinking. We're working as a team and doing much more. Turn and talk with the people at your table about this for a couple of seconds. If students in your school or state just finished reading a book, what do you think would be the most common form of assessment? Okay, so once again, we're gonna be going around the room. If any of you would like to share, please raise your hand or stand up.
Thank you so much.
I enjoy being voluntold. So I know that actually my daughter right now, they are reading a book for English, and there are both pop quizzes and they have to do a week-long thesis essay that they're working on. So that's one way that we're checking for understanding of these diversity.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
A summary?
Okay. So, now we're going to hand it over to Jordan and Emma to talk about computational thinking.
Summaries and essays are great and all, and we love doing those things every now and then, but we also like to do things a little differently.
What if we told you that we could code multi-level mazes, interactive maps, and games, and produce our own short films using an animated green screen, and even more? And that's only some ways that we incorporate coding into our learning at Mineola. I'm Emma Powers.
And I'm Jordan Shaker, and we're excited to share with you how computational thinking is integrated into our learning at Mineola, and how it shapes us as learners and creators. Computational thinking, alongside design thinking, is a logical problem-solving technique with 4 key foundations. Decomposition, breaking down big tasks into smaller, comprehensible steps.
Pattern recognition, analyzing and seeking a repeating sequence.
Abstraction, focusing on only the important details in the problem.
And algorithm design, the creation of a step-by-step process to solve a problem. Along with design thinking, computational thinking is another main part of our school.
Coding is only one of the concepts used in Mineola associated with computer science and computational thinking. So how does coding reinforce the computational thinking process? Dynamic coding projects in place of standardized assessments give students the opportunity to enforce skills like creativity, teamwork, trial and error, and more.
Even if a student isn't specifically interested in the computational thinking or computer science, they still build on it throughout their education, and it can be utilized many times throughout their lives. It's like learning a foreign language. Everything we do in Mineola revolves around computational thinking. At Mineola, we use a unique online platform called OyoPlace.
The platform is split up into courses, challenges/badges, and learning pathways. On your own mentors spend their time putting together a variety of courses for any coding language a student would like to acquire a skill in. Once they have gone through a course, they're encouraged to attempt a challenge in reward for a micro-credential badge on their very own digital portfolio.
Students are always in touch with mentors or teachers if they need help getting through a course or challenge. It is also equipped with a pass or fail system that you can get feedback if you need help. Coding is embedded into everything in our school. In 5th and 6th grade, at the end of each year, there's a minimum of 4 coding projects due. 1 for math, 1 for social studies, 1 for ELA, and 1 for science. In 5th grade, while learning our multiplication skills, we created a multiplication rocket, where the concept was to have the rocket blast off. By answering questions correct, the fire would get bigger, but when you answered the questions wrong, the fire would get smaller. At the end of our Mesopotamia unit in 6th grade, we created a map of Mesopotamia to show what we know.
In our 5th grade project-based learning exploratory classes, students take on the challenge of building their very own custom portfolio website. In 6th grade, students work their way through coding pathways and earn their very first mastery badge. It's like the scout badges of the 21st century. Now, has here ever played the Risk board game before?
Well, a hackathon is an online coding competition related back to competition-based learning. Teams must dominate as much territories as they can, much like Risk. We're beating out other teams based on the criteria of that territory.
Last year, Mineola Middle School had the privilege of hosting their very first annual Hackathon League against 8 other schools from all across Long Island. We prepared for over 2 months by practicing different coding language like HTML5, Hatch, Python, and more.
Just like Catherine said in the beginning, part of our mission is to pursue excellence. Although we didn't win, we learned many valuable skills, such as teamwork, thinking on the spot, and creativity.
No matter what you decide to pursue in Mineola schools, you're always being motivated to pursue excellence.
Another computational thinking asset in our school is Storymaker. Through this, students learn brainstorming, scripting, and storyboarding.
Now, watch this short video ad about our annual e-waste collection festival, in which we have collected over 15 tons of e-waste from the past 4 years.
Put your e-waste in the right place and join us on October 26th from 3 to 6 at Mineola Middle School for the 4th annual e-waste drive. I wonder what items I have laying around my house that I don't need anymore. Phones, chargers, gaming systems, televisions, computers, and accessories. But remember, no batteries. Be part of the solution, not part of the pollution.
During this, students learn where to place a character on a Y and X axis. They learn how to animate their own character. They learn dialogue, and they learn how to splice sound clips.
Can't get enough of animation? We even have it as an after-school club, where students produce short films to submit to seasonal contests. The program is also used in our comprehensive Summer Arts District Institute. And now, here's Catherine on how our quintessential MMS Robotics Club uses the computational thinking framework.
One club at the Mineola Middle School that benefits from computational thinking is our Robotics Club. Our Robotics Club is part of an international organization called First Legal League. In robotics, there are 3 main components: the project, the robot missions, and the core values. When using computational thinking, we have to go through a process in order to identify a problem that's related to the theme of the year. Last year's theme was about problems that astronauts face during long durations of space travel. Related to the theme, my robotics team created a system that reused water and also distributed that water in order to grow plants in space. We use technology in order to research information, contact experts at NASA, and many more. In the robot missions, we have to use a coding platform called Lego Mindstorm. Do you know the old saying, if you first don't succeed, try again? Well, in robotics, it takes about 37 tries in order to successfully complete each mission. But overall, when students persevere through problems, it really does pay off. Now, Emma is going to come up and talk about another club at the Mineola Middle School called Girls Who Code.
At Mineola, we developed a club called Girls Who Code. This all started a long time ago. Just kidding, it was only last year. It started after we Skyped Mineola alumni who was in Germany, and she was coding. And this got me thinking, could that be me one day? The next year, I was really excited to come back to school to learn that there was a new club. I learned that this is a sisterhood of 90,000 girls trying to shape the future of coding and computer science. At the end of the year, we created a bullying project to show what to do if you encounter a bully or what to do if you see one. Okay, so you've heard about all of our extracurriculars, but it wasn't always this way. My sister, who is now in 1st grade, already has the technology embedded into her work that I received when I was in 3rd grade.
Using technology in Mineola gives all teachers, students, and all stakeholders the opportunity to voice their feedback pertaining to student learning. for administrators to take into account when piloting new initiatives in our schools.
We are a one-to-one environment where every student that enters Mineola gets their very own iPad that they keep all the way until they exit Mineola High School. Currently, as a 7th grader, I can see our district drastically changing every year.
And now, here are two of our classmates to discuss personalized learning.
Okay, I think you've been sitting for a long time now. Let's get your blood pumping. I'm going to say a statement, and if you agree with that statement, please stand up or raise your hand, whichever you prefer. I am a visual learner. I learn by watching videos, movies, and documentaries. Okay, you can sit down now. I am an auditory learner. I learn by listening. Sit down, auditory learner. I am a kinesthetic learner. I learn by doing physical activities. You can sit down, kinesthetic learners. From my view, everybody has a different way of learning. But I have one question for you all. Do you believe that students should have choice learning? Stand up if you do. Okay, you can sit down now. In Mineola, we always had the choice of choosing how to shape our own learning since we were in elementary school, either from making simple choices in the classroom to joining after-school clubs.
We shape our learning to fit our personalities. Hi, I'm Joseph Perino.
And I'm Captain, and we own our own learning.
So you may be wondering, how do we personalize our learning here at the Mineola Middle School?
We personalize our own learning by choosing between choices, from simple choices to more difficult ones.
The Mineola Middle School is teaching us that we can make our learning our own, and that you can use technology in creative ways to meet your own individual needs in the curriculum.
Mineola has given us multiple opportunities to enhance our learning.
Here are some examples. One example is NHD, National History Day. National History Day, in my opinion, is the biggest choice project that you can do in our Mineola Middle School. To start off the project, you get to choose what topic you're going to pick that goes with the overarching theme, which is literally any American history topic. I chose the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Then, you get to choose how you're going to present that topic, with either a documentary, a website, a poster board, or a performance. And I chose performance. Now, before you start, to start off, you get to make a calendar that would schedule when you do your work, when you finish, or when you leave it off all to the end. Next, after all the work that you've done for those 3 months, you present your project in front of your teachers. And if you got a high enough grade, you would move on to go to Hofstra University to see who would make it to the Nationals. Now, I didn't make it to the Nationals, but I did win the Presidential Award that came with a $500 scholarship for me and my partner. Now, I would say this is the biggest choice probably that Mineola ever had, because I was able to choose what I did along my learning path, and when I would do all the work I would choose, along with it being what I wanted to do in the first place. Now, Catherine will talk about how we do presentational literacy.
Mineola gives us multiple opportunities to increase our presentation literacy skills. They provide us with multiple clubs that interact with the skill. For instance, our drama club students are expected to perform live in front of an audience. Our TED club is also a great example to enhance this skill. In TED, we work productively throughout 4 months to make a presentation that we choose. Mineola really does improve this skill. I know this for a fact because it really did have an effect on me. Last year, when I was my shy little 6th grade self, I wanted to run for student council president. So, I joined both of these clubs and enhanced my presentation literacy skills future opportunities that are soon to come. Just like clubs, AKAs are another way of enhancing your presentation literacy skills. But instead of outside of school, we do this in the classroom. First of all, what are AKAs? You have the option of choosing which way you show what you know after a humanities unit in the school. In addition to writing essays and taking tests, we have AKAs. This is the option of when you choose to show what you know after assessment. We usually show our work by presenting our projects in front of our class. Our humanities units are formed around questions. Last year, one of our 6th grade units revolved around the question, how do turning points lead to dynamic change? Like I mentioned before, I was able to choose how I showed my learning. The way I showed my learning is by making a skit about the Grinch. Last year, with the group. And how his life changed and what was his turning point. His turning point was when the Who's were still happy, even though he took everything away from them on Christmas Day. This way of choice learning has helped Mineola students to show what they actually do know in a fun, creative way instead of writing essays and taking a test. Diferentes experiencias de aprendizaje me han dado diferentes oportunidades. In English, different learning experiences have given me different opportunities. We expand our learning experience in a variety of different aspects. In the Mineola Middle School, we have a dual language program. As you can see, I'm in this program and I've been a proud member since I was in 3rd grade. This program expands student learning by giving students the opportunity of learning in both English and Spanish. This enhances the learning of students because they now know the comparison between both languages. We have clubs at the Mineola Middle School that enhance different skills, such as math skills, coding skills, presentation skills, and many more. Now Joe is going to talk about technology integration in our school.
Mineola is one of the biggest technologically integrated schools. I've met many people in the U.S. through my own acting who tell me how interesting and cool my school sounds compared to their old schools. At Mineola, we have different devices like Chromebooks, MacBooks, iPads, and even game devices like a PC and VR. And along with these great devices are these even better apps. These apps have the specific goal of giving you work that you aren't good at yet. For example, apps like eSpark, Khan Academy, MathSpace, LightSail, they all have a diagnostics test that narrow down your work into work that you're not good at yet. Oh, you'll learn about yet later. For example, instead of reading texts that aren't challenging and aren't building on your lifestyle, an app like LightSail will give you a diagnostics test that narrows down your work to give you more challenging texts that help build upon your lifestyle level. Like our superintendent once said, you know what you know, and you know what you don't know. These apps help you know what you already know about these topics, and what you don't know about these topics that you need to work to build upon. In return, this is setting a goal for you for the future, so that you won't be just sitting there doing busy work. And for a little side note, technology does not take away from students. It gives them more opportunities and gets them more engaged in the work that they are doing. And through all of this, Mineola also codes. Wow, I think I get a reaction on that one.
For us, we have different learning pathways on our Kidoya platform, which Emma and Jordan were talking about before. We have different pathways for 5th, 6th, and 7th grades. These pathways give students choice in their learning because they can choose different topics. One of the challenges that the 7th graders have to do during the social studies unit is, if Earth was failing, would you save Earth or would you try and civilize Mars? Well, you may be thinking, this sounds so irrelevant that it might as well be like on a talk show or something. Like, it doesn't sound like it should be in a classroom, but really, it's a perfect analogy for the age of exploration. And the reason I say that is because during the Age of Exploration, explorers had to decide if they would try and save the countries they live in, or if they would try and conquer lands elsewhere. And this is exactly like the Mars analogy. And the reason I bring this up is because different creative thinking styles like this will help students get more engaged in their learning, because it will sound like a talk show, so they'll be more engaged and they might enjoy it more. So when students are enjoying learning, they want to learn more and more. So different things like learning pathways really helps Mineola give students choice. And now, Joe, now there's Emma and Jordan to talk about. Well, my bad, there's a video.
Hi. My name is Richard Radick and I'm a 6th grader. And this year, I've learned a very powerful concept that has changed the way I look at things. It's called growth mindset. Growth mindset is the belief that you can learn anything, even if you're not good at it yet. If you have a growth mindset, you look to challenge yourself in different ways and be okay with making mistakes, because that's how we all get smarter. When I first learned growth mindset, I wanted to share with the world. And I'm starting with you. And together, we can make mistakes. We can make mistakes, grow neurons, and embrace the power of yet. Growth mindset, Mineola. Let's do this.
And Luke's mistake, it'll be me and Catherine who talks about growth.
As Richard explained, growth mindset is the motivational belief that you could achieve anything.
Even though you're not good at it yet. See, I told you to talk about yet later.
Students in our school have embraced growth mindset in everything we do and aren't afraid to make mistakes.
Students were able to take academic challenges by setting goals and embracing the power of not giving up. And to add on to this, at Mineola, we use neurons to help kids get more engaged in their learning. Here's Jeff, Jeffrey, and Jefferson. Anyway, neurons are really powerful to use when learning about any topic in school. If you know that every day when we know that we're learning something new, we are gaining neurons. So if you walk around schools in Mineola, like our elementary school or the middle school, you'll hear kids snapping to represent how they are learning and how their neurons are growing. So growth mindset isn't all about yet. It's just to learn that after you fail or after you make a mistake, you're building upon your learning and you're growing your neurons. Now Emma and Jordan will be talking about MMS Pride. I told you they would.
Hashtag Mineola Proud is our ongoing district-wide Twitter campaign, but that's not all Mineola Proud is.
Mineola Proud is an annual event hosted at our Mineola High School, where students come together to present our top picks from schools across our entire district and projects that we believe show innovation and what Mineola stands for. There's all kinds of projects being shown at this event, like design thinking machines, coding projects, and we even host a few TED Talks.
I am Mineola Proud of my school because I know that my teachers are committed to making their work fun and engaging, and I'm happy to say that I do not dread school. I'm excited to come to school to learn.
Mineola Middle School helps collect money for fundraisers in our Community Action Club. And we plant flowers and plants in our very own greenhouse club to help the environment. We do this and many more because Mineola Middle School chooses to help others.
I just participated in an event on Unity Day during Anti-Bullying Month. Instead of simply signing a petition, we decorated our very own buses, which would go around to the different schools and pick up kids for dismissal. While driving around the town, dropping kids off, Mineola can see that we choose to care, and we are kind.
prepare us for anything.
I'm getting ready to be an innovator.
I'm getting ready to be an entrepreneur.
I'm getting ready for a job that doesn't exist yet.
I'm getting ready to win an Oscar.
And I'm getting ready to change the world.
We are collaborative, creative, we have critical thinking skills, and we work as a team.
We have a voice, and that is what really matters to us in our education. Thank you. We are Mineola
My name is Michael Nagler, and I have the distinct pleasure of being the superintendent of Mineola Public Schools. Mineola Proud doesn't do it. It doesn't capture the pride I feel and the community feels when kids can come up and do things like this. And when they can talk about their own experiences and learning, I can't think of anything else that gives us greater satisfaction as educators. So this opens up our Q&A, inviting Vincent Durante, who's one of our middle school teachers, who will be joining our panel. We not only have rock star kids, we have rock star teachers. We get them to those points. We're also joined by our middle school principal, Andrew Casal, and our assistant principal, Amy Children. How can I miss Kelly? Where is Kelly? Oh, there you go. All the way in the back. Kelly Clifford. Way across the game, Kelly.
Good morning. First of all, congratulations. You guys were amazing. But as a leadership part of this, how do you ensure the continuity of those learning experiences moving forward and keep the staff engaged and the student engaged to make this a K-12 experience for your students?
That's a great question. So everything that they described in the middle school occurs in all 5 of our buildings to varying degrees that are each appropriate, but we spend a lot of time and energy in professional development for our teachers. Our teachers really design and implement most of the work. We give them some big ideas and then we give them support to accomplish it. One of the interesting things is something that Emma said about her younger sister. In 1st grade, she also has a middle one in 4th grade. So there's a good possibility that the 1st, the 4th, and the 7th grader are all doing the same thing in coding. That's how quickly kids are moving through our curriculum. And one of our biggest challenges is to be nimble enough to adapt to the work that their readiness to do. So it's a fairly unique problem, but we had, last year we had children in all 3 of those grades, maybe it was 2nd grade, doing the same work. So they're coming and they're coming fast.
Yeah, I was just add that, I'm right here. I was just add that.
Oh, Joe wants to speak, surprise.
I just like to add that I am 1 year older than them, and they're doing a lot of different work, a lot higher work that I couldn't even do in their 7th grade year that I did in my 7th grade year. So I just like to think like that's a lot, like just the impact from like our grade to all the way back down to the 1st grade. It's like it's a huge difference. So.
Most of the projects that you saw were grade level projects. So the Shark Tank, and there were projects that heat loss houses, using infrared technology in order to assess. There was a picture there. We actually didn't talk about it, but they encompass the whole grade level. So as the kids learn different aspects, they travel through the grades, and all of the students are gaining similar experiences. These guys, they run with it, you know. So this is the top of our class. And congratulations, by the way, phenomenal.
Yeah, you can breathe there.
I can breathe.
Yes.
So I'd like to offer you a challenge for the kids, and I'd like to hear your response. You all were talking about how you know what you know and how you know what you don't know. Now there's a third area which may be big. what you don't know that you don't know. So I'd like to hear you talk about how do you prepare for what you don't know that you don't know. And this actually is an easy question.
See, the beauty is he doesn't even throw it.
Well, we have many different websites and activities that we have, like our Kid Oyo platform and the learning pathways. So since it's so personalized and the apps like Light Sail that have the, what's the test called? The diagnosis test that personalizes your learning. So because what we learn is so personalized to what we know and what we don't know, and our teachers can see what we're working on and what we are good at now and what we need to work on, they can give us feedback so that we can improve on what we don't know. So the way we improve on don't know what we don't know is that we have many different resources that we use constantly that give us feedback that will help us improve ourselves.
Let me tweak that question a little bit. So,
I'm really impressed.
yeah, it really speaks to what Luke said before about content, and you'll forget the content an hour after you learn it. So can you speak to a little bit about skills or competencies that you guys are learning through all this work that you think will help you when you graduate?
So things like design thinking, computational thinking, and personalized learning, which are 3 focal points of our school, they have many smaller aspects to them that helps us build on many new skills, like communicating, collaborating, thinking. So all of these things will help us solve problems in the future with coding, building stuff, and whatever it may be, wherever you may be put in the future, we have to have perseverance, persistence, especially because all those times we failed, 37 in robotics, I guess. So all those times we failed, we learned something new. So we get many different skills during our processes. So really the 3 focal points that we've been talking about have many smaller aspects, more specific aspects that will help us more in the future, which is the whole point of this.
And it's not a secret. From the adult perspective, we're not talking in the back room about teaching great perseverance. They know exactly what they're doing because those are skills we want them to know. You know, Catherine wasn't joking about her shy little self in 6th grade. But she challenged the TED Talk and she challenged an election and that put her on this stage today. That's a huge difference from the Catherine I knew 18 months ago. Right?
Congratulations, and you are representing your schools very well. Can you talk more about what you're looking forward to in high school? Each one of you, maybe where you would like to take the skills you're learning now into high school.
I've been in high school often, so I know a lot about different, they give some paper about all the different classes that they have, and there's a lot of interesting classes that they have. They're just making new ones too. So I'm from a different aspect from there. There are a lot of robotics, coding. I'm more performer, and I like to perform an actor. So I come from a different aspect of that. So there's a lot of classes, new classes they're having is a improv acting class in the high school. So there's plenty of little classes they're making up on this coming just now that they're really improving. A lot of coding classes they have there. They have a lot of something that interests me a lot in high school is a business class that they have, economics and business. So there's a lot of things in high school that I think I'll be very looking forward to in the high school. So even though I'm already there.
Just a side note, our 8th grade is in our high school. So our middle school is 5, 6, 7.
Which is really good. It's really good for
Jordan, you gonna make any more apps? What do you think?
So we, as Emma noted before, some students aren't really, into that field, with the computer science and everything. But starting from such a young age to build on these skills, on the computational literacy skill set that you acquire at such a young age, by the time you're ready to enter the workforce or even enter high school, you're going to be so far ahead that you'll have the ability to to open up new doors for yourself, to give yourself new opportunities that just working the bare minimum, you never be able to push yourself to where we all aspire to be.
Yeah, Jordan is a CS kid, if you want to give him quotes, but he also was a lead in the play last year, so he's branching out. Emma, what do you think?
Well, all of our schools are really a technology-embedded school, and I've loved coding ever since that I've started at such a young age. So I'm really excited that it gets to stay with me, and that I'm going to be able to have it all throughout high school instead of just dropping it in middle school and moving on to something else. I'm really excited that I've had coding every year that I've been in Mineola, that I'm excited to still have it in high school.
I forgot to tell you guys that I expect all of you to take AP and computer principles in 9th grade. Next thing on my list. Yes?
First of all, I just want to tell all the students on the stage that you are awesome. You are absolutely inspiring, so thank you. I actually have a question for the adults on the stage. So often, schools and districts might have pockets of innovation. You know, a classroom here, a classroom there, maybe even a school that's doing innovative work on a whole. But a lot of districts find it very difficult to scale that kind of innovation. And it's very obvious to me that you have managed to kind of develop a culture, that innovative mindset throughout your entire district. How do you make that happen?
You know, on a teacher perspective, it's been an evolution. It didn't happen overnight. To be honest, under Dr. Nagler's leadership and direction and insight, this started a decade ago. And in order to build upon his successes, he came up with a vision, and through the building level administrators and the teachers, we formed collaborative teams to be able to make his vision come alive and really impact the kids, as you saw on the stage. But it's been an evolution over 10 years, so we've been built upon, and what doesn't work gets tossed, and what does work gets expanded, and the resources go to it. It's remarkable that, you know, we started off, you know, just as a one grade had a one-to-one initiative, and now the whole district's a one-to-one initiative. So it's it took some time, and it took some dedication, but as an educator, we're pretty much free to create environments inside of our classrooms that were examples on the screen.
I think I would add to that is trying to break it down into what school in its simplest form should be. And I believe it's two things. Children should have fun learning, and children should get work that's appropriate for them. And if you can accomplish those two things, no matter how you do it, everything else will take care of itself. And your emphasis should not be on, you know, summative exams or trying to keep up with the Joneses. It's about your community and what's special to your community. And be very honest and upfront about that. And we take a lot of pride in children knowing that. They joke all the time with me that they have to know what they don't know. It sounds ridiculous, but that's the tenet of everything we do. You cannot grow in something unless you know what your weakness is. It's also a tenet of growth mindset and deliberate practice. So, you know, they articulated so well the concepts that we profess, that it's a joy to me when the plan all comes together.
Thank you.
that look like?
Yeah, the element, we have 2 pre-K to 2 buildings, and then all those children funnel into 3, 4, and are together. So the pre-K to 2 buildings are much different with the use of technology. It's more on the side. We teach traditional reading. We do all of the
I'm sorry, reading and literature.
reading and literature. Yeah.
You know,
So
class novels, or you do book clubs. How does that work?
did you start book clubs?
Yeah.
Why don't you talk a little bit about the book club? It's a new initiative we just started.
In 7th grade, while reading a book, we do certain questions that we have, and at the end of, and certain due points for each chapters, while working with the group, and we decide on how much we want to read and take it into our own perspective instead of the teachers assigning us our books. We get to choose what we want to read and how much we want to read at a time. And at the end of every due date, there is an overarching question about the actual book. But along with that, we also did do a lot of light sale, and it works a lot because it's to your level. So you don't have to read books that are so much higher or so much lower than your actual lifestyle.
So with the book clubs too, there's like different roles you can have each time. So like when you have your meeting, which will be most likely 2 times a week or so, you'll meet with your book club, and then you'll work on it like the day before or 2 days before or whatever, and you'll do like to pick a different role. We have like a format with a bunch of different jobs that you can pick. You could ask questions, you could answer questions, you could like draw a picture about what you feel best, what you think is the point of those couple chapters that you read. And we have like different student choices that we've created, which really makes what could once be just reading a book and writing an essay about it, makes it much more engaging.
So we progress to the secondary level. We're instituting book clubs around the theme. So there's a lot of choice in what they read, and we're moving away from whole class novels.
Do they do any whole class novels at all, or just depends on the class?
Yeah, they still. What novel are we reading now? We're all reading.
I'm not reading novels right now. Last year, I know we did a lot of full class novels. We read some sci-fi. We kind of branched out. And
High school. It's more high school than it is.
Thank you.
So we're going to take one more question, and then I want to remind you that the whole group, including the teachers, will be out and along with our other group of students, and they're out in we have an area set up for them, and they're absolutely going to be able to interact with you. So Dr. Cullen will take one more question.
So quickly, kudos for modeling for us the type of active learning that you like, helping us experience it. That was brilliant. But a question for you. So you probably have friends, brothers, sisters, or cousins that go to a different school, or learn in a very, very different way than you're learning right now. I'm curious to hear from you, what kind of advantage you feel that's giving you. More importantly, because in the audience you have people that are in lead positions across the U.S. that can create the conditions for all students to have this type of experience. So I'd love for you to hear your thoughts on what kind of advantage you feel that gives you, and what advice you kind of give to this crowd of making that reality for more students.
So my older sister is 28 years old, and she did not go to Mineola. She, when I got to lead in the play last year, she told me she had a lead in the play last year too. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And then I realized, and when I come home sometimes I tell her about all the fun stuff, like the new stuff we did at school today. And she like nods along, but she can't relate to any of this stuff. This is brand new stuff that we're putting out there, and obviously coming home excited to tell your parents, like when your parents ask, oh, what'd you do at school? We're not going to say, oh, nothing, because that's not true. We have engaging assets in our everyday learning, and we love to do those kinds of stuff, and that's what makes it real for us.
Okay, so one big thing that we have that we've been talking about a lot is student choice. And because we can pick what we want to learn, we're more likely to like what we learn. And I'm sure, like Jordan was saying, all the things we're doing, most of us are going to say we like doing it. Do you know why you can trust every single one of us that says we love what we're doing? Because we're the students. So, you know, we're going to...
You don't lie.
I do not lie.